Hi, in this lesson we are going to talk about the abnormal loop terminations with the help of break and continue statements. Normally, a while statement executes until its condition becomes false. A running program checks this condition first to determine if it should execute the statements in the loop's body. It then rechecks this condition only after executing all the statements in the loop's body. Ordinarily, a while loop will not immediately exit its body if its condition becomes false before completing all the statements in its body. The while statement is designed in this way because usually the programmer intends to execute all the statements within the body as an individual unit, okay, an indivisible unit. Sometimes, however, it is desirable to immediately exit the body or recheck the condition from the middle of the loop instead. So what we can say in other words is the while statement checks its condition only at the top of the loop, okay. It is not the case that a while loop finishes immediately whenever its condition becomes true. So let us begin with the break statement. Here the simple program determines the top exit behavior of the while loop. So look at here, we are using a simple condition while x is equal to 10 print the first print statement in the while loop. Again we are assigning a new value to the x, okay, new value for the variable x. Now how do you think whether the while loop immediately terminates or not? Means whether while loop will end or not, or the control flow will exit the loop immediately or not. So that's what we are going to check. After assigning a new value to the variable x, we are using one more print statement, the second print statement in the while loop, okay. What do you think about this simple program? So here, even though the condition for continuing in the loop changes in the middle of the loop's body, for example here x is equal to 5, the while statement does not check the condition until it completes all the statements in its body. Means these are the statements, and execution returns to the top of the loop. Means the control flow will check all the statements in the while loop. It does not skip the remaining body of the while loop when the condition or the control variable gets new value in the middle of the execution, okay. That is the definition. When the control flow is executing the body of the while loop, it will not terminate the while loop execution if it finds a new variable for the control variable, okay, new value for the control variable. So here we are assigning new value to the control variable, and the control flow will not terminate immediately, but it will check the remaining statements, okay. That is the definition. While statement does not check the condition until it completes all the statements in its body, and execution returns to the top of the loop. Execution means the control flow execution. So let us run this cell and see how it works. So look at here, we have two statements. One is first print statement and another one is second print statement, even after assigning a new value to the variable x. So once we assign the new value to the variable x, and once the control flow executes all the statements in the while loop, then the new variable means the new value assigned to the variable will be passed to the control flow variable in the conditional expression. Okay, so this is the conditional expression, x is equal to 10. So now x value becomes 5, 5 is not equal to 10. Once the control flow executes all the statements, it will move to the top of the while loop. Okay, at the top we have conditional expression. So new value x will be assigned, so it will check the condition becomes false, and then the loop will terminate, but not in the middle. Okay, let us recheck by making the x value as comment. Okay, now there is no new value assigned for the x. Let us check what happens. Let us run this code. Yes, look at here, the code is running continuously. There is no termination, because unless the x value becomes other than 10, the loop will continue to execute itself, means it will keep on repeating the loop. Okay, so let us stop here. Okay, let us once again change the value of the control variable x to 5, or you can assign any other value, for example 6. Okay, let us run this code. So look at here, the control flow at the beginning has checked the condition is true, and it will execute all the statements of the while loop. Okay, and it will check for the control variable once again. So when we are assigning a new value to the variable x, in the second iteration this x will be passed to the control variable x in the conditional expression at the top of the while loop. Okay, this is the top only. So once the new variable x is find here, the condition becomes false because 6 is not equal to 10. So 6 is equal to 10, obviously the condition is false, right? The while loop will terminate. So this is how we can analyze the code. Sometimes it is more convenient to exit a loop from the middle of its body, that is, quit the body of the loop before all the statements in the body execute. Okay, this means if a certain condition becomes true in the loop's body, exit right away. Similarly, a for statement typically iterates over all the values in its range or over all the characters in its string. Sometimes, however, it is desirable to exit the for loop prematurely. So Python provides two types of loop terminational statements: break and continue in such situations. Here we can use the break statement to exit the body of the while loop in the middle of the execution. Means if a certain condition becomes true in the middle section of the while loop's body, then exit right away immediately after the condition becomes true. Sorry, immediately after the condition becomes false. Sorry. Immediately after the condition becomes true in the loop's body. This middle exiting condition could be the same condition that controls the while loop. So here we can use the break statement to exit a loop from the middle of its body. Let us see how to use the break statement. So as I said earlier, sometimes it is necessary to exit a loop from the middle of its body. That is, quit the loop before all the statements in its body execute. This means a certain condition becomes true. If a certain condition becomes true in the body's loop, exit right away. This middle exiting condition would be the same condition that controls the while loop, but it does not need not to be. Okay. So break statement is used to exit the loop when certain condition becomes true in the while loop body. If you look at the first example, even if we assign a new value to the control variable, the while loop will not terminate immediately. It will execute all the statements in the body of the while loop. But we don't want to execute all the statements of the while loop. Sometimes we need to quit the while loop in the middle of the program execution. Okay, so in such cases a break statement can help to exit the execution of the while statement body. Okay, so here you can see the example. Here I have taken some code. I have taken a simple code to sum up only the positive numbers and ends on receiving the negative numbers. So let us reanalyze the code. Initially the entry is 0 and the variable sum is also 0. So this print statement will give instruction for the user. Enter numbers to sum, negative number ends list. Initially the condition is true. Okay, directly we can use the boolean expression. While true, get the number from the user using the variable entry. Okay, if entry is less than 0, means if the user enters negative value, then break. Otherwise do sum is equal to sum plus entry. If the user enters negative value, then exit the loop, means terminate the loop and do not repeat the loop. Okay, it will not repeat again, it will completely terminate the loop, means it will completely exit from the loop. Control flow will completely exit from the loop. Next we are using the print statement, sum is equal to sum. means the evaluated total value of the sum. Let us run this code. So this time I would like to enter the numbers, positive numbers, for example 5. 5 is the positive number, so this condition, if condition becomes false and sum will be equal to sum plus entry. So look at here, this sum is not the body of this if statement, break is the body of this if statement. Okay, so look at the indentation, this sum is the body of this while loop, if is the body of this while loop. Okay, but break is the body of this if statement, not the while statement. Okay, the while loop is still running. Okay, means still it is waiting for the user input positive number. Let us enter one more positive number 6 and one more positive number 4, and now I would like to enter the negative value to terminate the loop. So once I enter the negative value, for example -3, look at here, -3 is less than 0, then this if condition becomes true. Once the if condition becomes true, immediately we have a break statement. So this will make the control flow to exit from the loop. Okay, it will not evaluate the remaining statements of the while loops body. Okay, sum is equal to sum plus entry is the statement of the while's body. Okay, if condition is the one statement and sum is equal to sum plus entry is the another statement. So when the condition becomes true in the if statement, immediately the control flow will stop executing the remaining body of the while loop because of the break statement. So let us enter here -3 and press enter. So look at here, the break statement has terminated the execution of the while loop's body immediately after the condition becomes true, and the total sum has been printed here. So 6 plus 5 11, 11 plus 4 is nothing but 15. So this is how the break statement works in Python. If you observe this code, the while loop is always true, it never becomes false. Okay, because we are using the direct expression true, and nowhere in the while loop's body we are making the condition to become false, because we are not using any control variable, directly we are using the expression. Okay, true. That's why the only way to exit this loop is nothing but using the break statement. Here the keyword break means break out of the loop. The placement of this break statement makes it impossible to enter the negative values to the sum variable. So when the condition becomes true, because of this break statement, the control flow will immediately exit from the loop. Let us look at another example. Let us see one more example to see how the break statement works. Here we are using the break statement inside the for loop. So we have already seen this example to count the number of vowels and print the number of vowels. Okay, so initially we are getting the string value from the user, and then we are initializing the vowel count as 0, and then we are beginning the for loop. For C in word means for item in word, if item is equal to a, or if item is equal to small a, or if item is equal to capital E or small e, or capital I small I, similarly up to capital U or small u, then print the vowel separated by no space, but each vowel is separated by a comma. Okay, and vowel and each vowel will be placed side by side with the help of this end statement. Now vowel count is equal to vowel count plus 1 will be incremented if it finds any of the vowel in the word. Okay, else if C is equal to x, suppose if we enter any x value, or if the control flow finds any x in the word, either capital X or small x, then break the loop. So this break statement will immediately break the loop if it finds capital X or small x. And then finally we are printing the vowel count using the print statement. Let us run this code and enter some word. For example, here this is a book. So look at here, this word does not have any x's. Okay, there is no x letter here. Let us run this code once again, and this time let me enter the string with the x character. Okay, for example, this is 6, this is 6, this is 6 in cricket. For example, this is sorry, let us enter first 6 in this match. Okay, first 6 in this match. Look at here, 6 is appearing in the second word. Okay, total, this is the total string, and this is the second word in the string. So we have one vowel, and then here one vowel, only two vowels. So look at here, first vowel and second vowel. After that the control flow is checking for x's. Okay, else if C is equal to x, then this break statement will immediately exit from the loop. So without checking the remaining characters in the string. So this is how the break statement works in this particular example, in counting the total number of vowels in a string. I think you have got the idea on how to use the break statement. The break statement is handy when a situation arises that requires immediate exit from a loop. The for loop in Python behaves differently from the while loop, in that it has no explicit condition that it checks to continue its iteration. Okay, We must use a break statement if we wish to prematurely exit a for loop before it has completed its specified iterations. The for loop is a definite loop, which means programmers can determine upfront the number of iterations the loop will perform. The break statement has the potential to disrupt this predictability. Okay. For this reason, programmers use break statements in for loops less frequently, and then they often serve as an escape from a bad situation that continued iteration might take worse. Okay. Here, if you see, we can potentially replace the break statement with the help of else part of the if statement. Okay. So look at here. If condition, inside the if condition becomes true, then we are using break statement. So but we can replace this break statement with the looping variable and then the else part. Here the no break version introduces a boolean variable looping. So look at here, the boolean variable looping, and the loop control logic is a little more complicated. The no break version uses more memory and more time to execute. This extra memory is insignificant, and except for rare specialized applications, the extra execution time is imperceptible. In most cases, the more important issue is that the more complicated the control logic for a given section of code, the more difficult the code is to write correctly. Okay. So in some situations, even though it violates the single entry point, single exit point principle, a simple break statement is a desirable loop control option. So though this alternative method is available, but usage of the simple break statement is the simple solution to terminate the loop at certain situations.